From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV, I'm Brian Karstens.
The Sioux Empire's most talked about.
Hey, good morning. We're up just in time. Here we go. Big budget battle going on in Washington right now. That's the big story this morning. Details here in moments.
On the air.
I love the great Belfrage show.
I've been listening to you for years, Greg. Thanks for all you do and keeping us informed.
Been rushing around.
Dispensing a daily dose of common sense. No prescription required.
Get behind the mic and I remember what I forgot.
Americans play to win all the time. I don't believe in the no-win scenario.
This is the Greg Belfrage.
Good morning, my friend. The marketplace of ideas is open. It is great to have you along this morning on this Thursday morning, December 19th. The budget battle, big budget battle in Washington. And I wanted to start with some of the comments that Donald Trump made on Truth Social, because then as we get into this, I think it's going to, some of this is going to make more sense to you. Donald Trump said on Truth Social, sounds like the ridiculous and extraordinarily expensive continuing resolution is dying fast. Now again, and now it's dead. It's dead. So he posted this at the, when it looked like it was not going to pass yesterday. Donald Trump posted this. He said, can anyone imagine passing it without either terminating or extending the debt ceiling guillotine coming up in June? Unless the Democrats terminate or substantially extend the debt ceiling now, I will fight till the end. This is a nasty trap set in place by the radical left Democrats. They're looking to embarrass us in June when it comes up for a vote. The people that extended it from September 28th to June 1st should be ashamed of themselves. It was political malpractice. And he said also the Communist Global Engagement Center, a project of crooked Hillary Clinton, should not in any way, shape, or form be extended. And the shielding, he said, of the very corrupt January 6th Unselect Committee, he said, would be suicidal for any Republican approving it. Likewise, this is not a good time for Congress to be asking for pay increases. Yeah, that was part of this. Pay increases for Congress. Trump said, hopefully you'll be entitled to such an increase in the near future when we make America great again. So Donald Trump calling this a debt ceiling guillotine coming up in June. And he's making it very, very clear that he wants the Biden administration to have to deal with this now. And Trump also on Truth Social said, if Republicans try to pass a clean continuing resolution without all of the Democrat bells and whistles that will be so destructive to our country, all it will do after January 20th is bring the mess of the debt limit into the Trump administration rather than allowing it to take place in the Biden administration. Any Republican that would be so stupid as to do this should and will be primaried, he said. Everything should be done and fully negotiated prior to my taking office on January 20th, Donald Trump said on Truth Social. So a lot of this is being laid at the, let's go to Google News and a look at the legacy media and some of their headlines. Republicans scrap the spending bill under pressure from Trump and Musk, which was true. So this government funding plan, ABC News says it collapsed after Trump issued demands. AP News, Trump brings chaos back to Washington. So in other words, Donald Trump is chaos we should just be content to just status quo. Let's just all get along and let's spin the country into oblivion. It's just crazy. So we had Hakeem Jeffries yesterday, who was the House minority leader, reacting to this. And he said that, Republicans, Democrats together had reached an agreement to fund the government, keep it open, meet the needs of the American people, Jeffries said. House Republicans have now unilaterally decided to break a bipartisan agreement that they made. House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government. I don't think they've been ordered to shut down the government. They have been wanting to curb. You've got those in Washington who have wanted to curb federal spending for quite a long period of time. So they did not need to be ordered. They were, they have been wanting to move on these things for a long time. But Hakeem Jeffries says House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt everyday Americans all across this country. An agreement is an agreement. It was bipartisan, and there was nothing more to say. Well, apparently there was. Apparently there was, Mr. Jeffries. He said on X, he said, and the reason I'm bringing up his statement on X is because Elon Musk responded to this. So Jeffrey said on X, House Republicans have been ordered. It was very much the same as to what he had said. House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt working class Americans they claim to support. Do you feel like you're injured? I mean, you're working class Americans. Do you feel like you were injured in what happened yesterday? That I've been harmed in some way? Give me a break. He said, you break the bipartisan agreement, you own the consequences that follow. And Elon Musk, who, responds, and he said to Jeffries, you seem to think the public is dumb. They are not, Elon Musk said. And then in another post, he said, the voice of the people was heard. This was a good day for America. You're seeing a lot of strength here, I think, on the part of Trump and his, as well as the other Republicans who are, when it comes to these issues, is spending. And Elon Musk on X had posted a video, and it was just a portion of a video he was in. And he was talking about this, and he said something that really caught my attention. He was talking about federal spending, and he said all federal spending is taxation. All of it. I mean, it's taxation. He said we must reduce federal spending, or we're going to go bankrupt as a country. And of course, he's exactly right. So, also, in regard to where Donald Trump is standing, this is a big story this morning. Lawrence Jones, who's one of the co-hosts of Fox and Friends, talked to Trump yesterday. And Trump told him the fight starts now. So what do you think about and that's what you're seeing, is that Donald Trump is saying, he's out there and as if he is, he's the president-elect. He's not president yet. He's not sworn in yet. And the idea then that he should just have to deal with all these problems once he becomes president. Trump is making it clear. Jones said, I just spoke with the president-elect. He is totally against the proposed CR. He said he believes the fight starts now, rather than waiting until he is sworn in, and which I kind of agree with him about that. I think the voice of Americans was, I heard them very, very clearly after the election. So Trump also acknowledged that House Speaker Mike Johnson is in a challenging situation, but he emphasized that this approach, Johnson's approach, is not the appropriate course of action. Because now apparently it's back to the drawing board. They want to come up with a clean CR rather than all of this stuff that had been loaded onto the Steve Scalise is the Republican majority leader, and he told reporters last night this deal was dead. Said lawmakers are now looking at a number of options as they move forward. New York Post has got some more comments from Scalise here. He said this package would have funded the government until mid-March. It's dead. So Congress is now scrambling to come up with a new agreement. He said there's still a lot of negotiations and conversations going on. No agreement on how to proceed, he said at this point. Large contingent of House Republicans laughed at that continuing resolution was over 1,500 pages. Over 1,500 pages. So they laughed at it, and House Speaker Mike Johnson had drafted this in negotiation with the Democrats. And so Elon Musk, they said, this is the New York Post. The revolt was spearheaded by Elon Musk, one of Trump's closest advisors and co-chair of of Doge. She went on I don't know that I would put it this way, a tirade on X. Have you ever seen Elon Musk have a tirade? He's one of the most laid back guys. Just always calm, always a tirade. What if he posts more than, you ever looked at Elon Musk posts on X? They're short. They're short. The media, they just cannot help themselves. Even my beloved New York Post. So Trump was on True Social, and I shared that post with you. So Scalise said, there's no new agreement right now. We're obviously looking at a lot of options, he said. So J.D. Vance was in the Senate. He was working until like 10 p.m. last night. And Vance then said, what the president believes is that we should support a clean CR, continuing resolution, so long as it contains a debt limit increase, Trump said. And after the meeting last evening, he said, we had a productive conversation. I'm not going to say anything else about it tonight, but I think we'll be able to solve some problems here, and we'll keep working on it. So that was Senator J.D. Vance. So now Speaker Johnson is looking at Plan B, which would be a clean continuing resolution. The Hill's got a story on this morning, and they talked to several people that were confirming this. So what would a clean CR mean? It would drop the additional provisions that were included in the 1,500-page spending bill. And some of that would be like disaster aid, economic assistance for farmers, the J.D. Vance and Donald Trump also issued a release, and they said increasing the debt ceiling is not great, but we'd rather do it on Biden's watch. If Democrats won't cooperate on the debt ceiling now, what makes anyone think they would do it in June during our administration? This is a statement the two of them released. Let's have this debate now. And we should pass a streamlined spending bill that doesn't give Chuck Schumer and the Democrats everything they want. So House Speaker Mike Johnson now working on Plan B. And they went on. They said, Republicans want to support our farmers, pay for disaster relief, and set our country up for success in 2025. The only way to do that is with a temporary funding bill without Democrat giveaways combined with an increase in the debt ceiling. Anything else is a betrayal of our country. But you understand, as they're reacting to this, it becomes more and more clear that why they're doing it. The Hill's got a story this morning that this funding deal of House Speaker Mike Johnson now throws his speakership into question. So you've got this isn't anything new, but I really hope that we would see Mike Johnson leading the fight more on some of these issues. So it was Representative Thomas Massey of Kentucky came out against Johnson in light of the spending deal. He said he would oppose him on the House floor next month. Handful of other Republicans are not saying if they will support Johnson next month. So we'll see how he gets through this. I think how Mike Johnson reacts to this is going to determine as to whether or not he will continue to be the Speaker of the House. He's had a pretty good relationship with Donald Trump, but again, Trump differing with him. This was a deal that Johnson said, oh, we've got to be able to do this, and then once we get in, then we can visit a lot of these issues. So I'm trying to look. There are a lot of comments, folks reacting to this. Vivek Ramaswamy said, I wanted to read the full 1,500 plus page bill and speak with key leaders before forming an opinion. Having done that, here's my view. It's full of excessive spending, special interest giveaways, and pork barrel politics. If Congress wants to get serious about government efficiency, they should vote no, he said. Elon Musk, I think, also wrote, actions matter, sweet talk is irrelevant, kill the bill. So that's what I'm talking about. Elon Musk is always very short, right to the point. So you've got a House of Republicans now scrapping that federal plan, spending plan. So Senator Josh Hawley said, talking about this, he said, by law, Congress is supposed to pass a budget in September. They're supposed to do it in 10 separate budget bills so that we can debate them, read them, pass them, and they haven't done any of that. They obviously blew right through that September deadline. Then they get to the end of the year, and it's a huge pileup. They are counting on the fact that there's no time left, that nobody will have time to read this. That's what they want. They are banking on that. They don't want us to read and find what they jammed into this thing. That's why they're now trying to rush a vote tonight, he said. Democrats have been doing this for decades. But the fact that Republicans are doing it is just disgusting. This is Senator Josh Hawley reacting to this. So I had seen the comments by Mike Johnson yesterday. He was, and these were comments he made on Tuesday night. I think it was on Fox News Channel. He was visiting with Fox. And he said, Elon, Vivek, and I were on a text chain together. And I was explaining to them the background of this, and Vivek and I talked last night. He said, look, I get it. We understand you're in an impossible position. Everybody knows that. And Johnson said, remember, guys, we still have just a razor thin margin of Republicans, so any bill has to have Democrat votes. They understand the situation and said, it's not directed at you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. Johnson said, guess what, fellas? I don't either. Then do something about it. then do something about it. Other big stories this morning. We'll get your reaction to this also coming up this morning. Also, now a man from California, 20-year-old Alexander Pappendorf, is under arrest. He was allegedly planning a mass shooting at a government building, and it was a coordinated attack then with the teenage girl who gunned down two people at the Wisconsin Christian school earlier this week. The two of them apparently were working together or had conversation together about what they were planning. So that's also a big story this morning. But we'll get you a look at more for you coming up here shortly. Fox News Radio on the way in moments. This hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
Weekdays at 2. Kello News Talk 1320, 107.9.
The Kello Hotline is brought to you by Tires. See in-store details about how to get rebates from major tire manufacturers. 2 Sioux Falls locations to serve you.
From the greatest to the Z's, we're celebrating your generation at Royal River Casino. Join us for some generational winning and receive free play. Mondays, rewards members that are ages 45 and older are eligible, and Tuesdays, ages 21 to 44 are in the hot seat as you play to earn points. And swipe your card to reveal your prize. Play the decades, where every day feels like your birthday. See website for complete details. Royal River Casino, must be 21.
Nothing has embodied the American spirit like the family farmer. Year after year, they continue to work the land and plant their crops. Through droughts, floods, and uncertain markets, they keep that spirit alive with another crop harvested for the next generation. And for that, we tip our hats to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk of developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and regress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to slow.
Oh, I just feel like my head is spinning this morning.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression. Izervay or avacincaptid pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today. Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
Pockets of snow and blowing snow today in the Sioux Falls area. Temperatures dropping as a result of this strong cold front through the 20s. And of course, a lot of wind, northwest 20 to 45. Winter weather advisories in effect for the Pipestone and Marshall area. Forecast low tonight near 5 above. Tomorrow's high 17. From the storm.
And in Sioux Falls at 6:30. Cloudy skies, 29 currently at Kello. Joe Bowman is in the Kello.com News Center this morning following the 4 fraud cases this year. AG Marty Jackley plans to introduce new legislation that would strengthen laws governing state employees and state finances. Joe will have details on that story coming up on Kello.
Ms. Foster. House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government. Top House Democrats.
I cringe every time I hear Hakeem Jeffries.
Opposed by President-elect Trump and some other Republicans like Florida's Anna Paulina Luna.
We should shut down the government.
That happened Saturday without a deal. A 15-year-old girl who killed another student and a teacher at her school Monday was, according to court documents, in touch with a would-be shooter in California.
Police detained a 20-year-old Carlsbad man for allegedly planning a mass shooting at a government building, a plan they say he coordinated with the Wisconsin school shooter. According to a gun violence restraining order obtained by KFMB, Alexander Poffendorf admitted to the FBI he shared his plans with the team.
Fox's Carmen Roberts police say the girl in Wisconsin had 2 handguns during the shooting. America's listening to Fox News.
News brought to you by Sioux Falls Implant and Sedation Dentistry. They fix your teeth while you sleep.
Kello News Time 6:31. I'm Joe Bowman in the Kello.com News Center. Following the 4th case of state employee corruption this year, the South Dakota Attorney General plans to introduce new legislation that would strengthen laws governing state employees and state finances. Marty Jackley says state employees would be required to notify the AG's office of suspected felonies. He also wants to expand whistleblower protections and increase transparency into state business. Jackley says more arrests could be coming. Flu numbers in South Dakota are on the rise. The state health department says cases have been steadily increasing in December, with nearly 280 new cases reported last week alone. There have been 4 hospitalizations, but no reported deaths so far this year. Only 1 South Dakotan has died since the flu season began in late September. The debate over Governor Kristi Noem's proposed school voucher program is getting an early start. Outgoing House Majority Leader Will Mortensen says the idea is a hard sell to begin with, and even more challenging when there are budget cuts.
When you're considering a bunch of government cuts, it's just the wrong time to start a big new government program. So I'm inclined to say that we should put our core priorities first. I'm inclined to say that our public taxpayer dollars should go to our public schools.
Incoming State Majority Leader Jim Melhoff defended the proposal and says it shouldn't be viewed as an attack on public education.
To provide an alternative option with a little bit of help for folks to do it, I don't think it necessarily should be viewed as an attack on public education. I think it could be an enhancement.
Governor Noem is proposing a $4 million investment to start the program. Education officials are concerned about its long-term impact, saying it would undoubtedly grow in the future if it's adopted. And in college basketball tonight, Augustana takes on number 24 Southwest Minnesota State. The Jackrabbits host Chadron State, and the Coyotes are in St. George, tipping off against Utah Tech. From the Kello.com News Center, I'm Joe Bowman.
The news never stops. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9.
Areas of snow at times and strong winds developing, and that will create some pockets of blowing snow. Temperatures in the Sioux Falls area falling from the 30s into the 20s. Those winds out of the northwest gusting to 45 miles per hour. Forecast tonight, we're going to drop back down to about 5 degrees by daybreak, and tomorrow's high temperature at 17. From the Storm Center at Kettleland TV, I'm Brian Karstens.
Where the only race that matters is the race for a better informed public. Kello News Talk 1320 107.9 and Kello.com.
Here's an early New Year's resolution, and do this today. If you have a 23andMe account, or for that matter, any type of DNA-based account, get rid of it now. I'm Kim Commando for SimpliSafe. Visit simplysafekim.com to save 50% on a new system. There's no safe like SimpliSafe. Back 17 years ago, when those DNA-based Trace Your Ancestors websites just popped up, they were one of the biggest Christmas gifts. But today, 23andMe is in a free fall. Their database was hacked, identities were put up for sale on the dark web, rumors are people were sorted based on race, even down to religion. In these days of anti-Semitism, you can see the danger. As the company's money dwindles, it's desperately searching for a buyer. No one knows who will be. So remove any account that you share DNA. And now that we know just how dangerous these operations are, never provide your DNA to another company, ever. Join 600,000 people who get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Amid holiday prep and gifts arriving on doorsteps, keeping your home and family safe has never been more crucial. Why? because FBI data shows that the holidays see a sharp rise in burglaries and theft. And right now, you can save 50% on a new SimpliSafe system. Unlike traditional security systems that only kick in after someone is already inside your home, with SimpliSafe Active Guard outdoor protection, monitoring agents can prevent crime before it starts. Seeing and speaking to suspicious individuals in real time and requesting 911 dispatch before they even reach your door. With no long-term contracts and professional monitoring plans starting around $1 a day, it's no wonder SimpliSafe was named Best Home Security Systems by
Clear
US
my
News
mind
and World
for a
Report
moment.
for 5 years running. Head to simplysafekim.com
I really,
to save 50%.
I just feel like
select professional monitoring plans.
I rush when I first come in, you know, I know what I need to do and I know where I need to go and getting that information and boom, 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 boom. And then trying to share with you as much as I can. Every time the mic is open, I'm trying to get through as much information as I can, especially in the 6 a.m. hour. So I appreciate having a moment to draw a breath and go, okay.
Your living room from ABC Seamless of Sioux Falls. Call 605-646-2667 today. That's ABC Seamless. Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
Why pay more for prescriptions? Stop overpaying and start
Ugh,
saving with
excuse
SingleCare.
me.
It's easy. Find your prescription on singlecare.com. Show the coupon at the pharmacy and start saving. SingleCare works at pharmacies nationwide and is completely free to use, whether you have insurance or not. So the next time you fill a prescription, check SingleCare to make sure you're getting the best price. Take control of your prescription costs. Go to singlecare.com or download the free app today.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ziprecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free.
Snow, sleet, freezing rain.
Chances are you don't like dealing with nasty winter weather, unless you're a snowplow driver. Woohoo!
My favorite time of year. For
6:38, cloudy skies, 29. Good morning and welcome to the Greg Belfrage Show. Hey, it's great to have you along. Hey, a reminder, I'll be on vacation next week. No Greg Belfrage Show next week. In fact, I'll be off through the holidays. I'll return on Thursday, January 2nd. I really enjoy having time off this time of the year. It's just a very winds up being a restful, reflective period for me. So this hour of the Greg Belfrage Show brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month.
what's trending now?
Add them on Facebook.
Let the tweeting begin. The hashtag does that. News and views from Belf's News Gallery.
Well, Donald Trump said yesterday he is totally against the continuing resolution, which wound up being killed then yesterday. Trump released a statement, the most foolish and inept thing ever done by congressional Republicans was allowing our country to hit the debt ceiling in 2025. It was a mistake and is now something that must be addressed, he said. Also, some of this is dated. These stories wind up trending a little bit. By the time they wind up trending, they're actually behind events. So I don't like sharing some of them with you. So there are just a number of stories regarding the debt ceiling this morning. That is the big story of the morning. Also, other stories that are trending. Donald Trump yesterday appeared to support Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and he said, really too bad that AOC lost the battle for the leadership seat in the Democrat Party. Trump said she should keep trying. Someday she will be successful, Trump said. So the AOC responded to this, and she said, damn, you know it's bad when even Trump is feeling bad for me. She said. Now, Jim Comer had Republican Representative Jim Comer told CNN, he said, I'm a big AOC fan. He said, obviously, I don't agree with very much of her policy, but I think she's a good person. I think she's very well spoken, which she is. He said, if it's AOC, I think we'll have a good working relationship. So this was prior. Donald Trump, was that meant, was he being facetious? Was he, I don't know. But it's generating attention, and as well as news stories and coverage. Also, Ryan Routh, you'll remember he is the man facing federal charges trying to assassinate Donald Trump. He's now facing charges in the state of Florida. They've charged him with attempted felony murder. So Attorney General Ashley Moody announced the charges yesterday morning. So Ryan Routh now, in addition to federal charges, facing state charges. And Ashley Moody said federal prosecutors will not help with the state's case. In fact, she accused them of trying to block it. And this is the sheriff of Martin County, Florida. William Snyder is his name. He said it's unusual for federal law enforcement not to work with state and local law enforcement. He said we work with federal partners every day. If there's a bank robbery, a kidnapping, a crime where there's multiple jurisdictions, they're glad to work with us. We have no trouble working with them. So they, in their state investigation, they're having to rely on public documents. Federal government's not being forthcoming. What a shock. I know you're greatly surprised at that, aren't you? Also, we had U.S. stocks closing lower yesterday. The Dow dropping in its 9th consecutive decline. So the Dow tanked actually, this is from Forbes, 1,100 points. Wobbles toward the longest losing streak since 1974. Also, the Federal Reserve cut interest rates by 0.25 point in December. It was and there's a lot of reaction to this. So they lowered the benchmark rate by 25 basis points. Also, Nissan has shares of Nissan actually have seen their biggest gain in nearly 40 years after Nissan entered merger talks with Honda. So this is a deal that could also include Mitsubishi Motors, in which Nissan is the top shareholder. would create the world's third largest car maker behind Toyota and Volkswagen. So Nissan shares jumped 24%. Honda fell 3%. Pete Hegseth's Senate confirmation, his hearing, is now scheduled for the second week of January. So a date now has been set. So Pete Hegseth's Senate confirmation hearing scheduled for January 14th. Also, Pope Francis has revealed that he was nearly assassinated during his trip to Iraq. And he said, almost everyone advised me against that trip. He wrote in his autobiography, talking about the trip to Iraq, where a tip from British intelligence then alerted the Vatican military police to two threats. One was a would-be suicide bomber strapped with explosives headed toward the city. The second was a van containing explosives that had charged toward the same area with the same intent. Also, the Supreme Court said yesterday they will take up TikTok's appeal challenging a federal law that would ban TikTok next month. We talked about this yesterday. So the court acted just one day after TikTok had filed its appeal. They will hear oral arguments on January 10th before issuing a decision on whether to put the law on hold. So January 10th will be the day that TikTok stay in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. Also, Donald Trump made an announcement Tuesday evening regarding Herschel Walker and naming him ambassador to Bahamas. And Trump said Herschel has spent decades serving as an ambassador to our nation's youth, our men and women in the military, and athletes at home and abroad. And so he said that now appointing him as ambassador to the Bahamas. The Biden administration, the EPA, announced that they will allow California to ban new gasoline vehicle sales after 2035. Have you seen this? You know this is going to wind up being a battle. And so you've got the EPA under Joe Biden and allowing California to ban new gasoline vehicle sales after 2035. So the fight goes on. With the craziness we see going on throughout the country and coming from the federal government, in this case, the EPA. Also, the House Ethics Committee has voted to release their report on former member Matt Gaetz. And they don't usually do this. So the Fox reported on the move yesterday. The report is expected to be made public after the House's final day of votes this week, as Congress heads into their holiday break, wraps up the session, and throws a bomb at Matt Gaetz. So this is angering many who are saying, okay, well, let's just start releasing these reports on everyone. Let's release all the reports. If you're going to release that one, release them all. And I thought, well, that makes a degree of sense. Also, police in Aurora, Colorado, believe that an armed break-in on Tuesday at an apartment complex was without question a gang incident. They arrested 14 people, and it was in response to an armed home invasion where victims were beaten and abducted, and really unsettling what happened here. So the chief of the Aurora Police Department said that 13 to 15 individuals, primarily men, but also some women, broke into an apartment that had 2 people inside. They threatened and bound the victims after taking them to another apartment at the same address. Also, the Milwaukee Bucks have won the NBA Cup. So they beat the Thunder, claiming the NBA Cup in Las Vegas. Also, the FBI has raided the home of Los Angeles Democrat deputy mayor. And police are now saying he's the likely source of a bomb threat at City Hall earlier this year. So they searched his home on Tuesday in connection with the bomb threat. LAPD put out its own statement saying he was likely the source of the threat. So earlier this year, they said the police had responded to a bomb threat against Los Angeles City Hall. Our initial investigation revealed the source of the threat was likely Brian Williams, deputy mayor for public safety. I'll just let you reflect on the idiocy of that. A bomb threat being called in by the deputy mayor for public safety. Wow. All right. Also, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed the first case of severe bird flu in the United States. So they said on Wednesday the patient has been hospitalized in Louisiana. State health officials say the patient is over the age of 65. There are underlying medical conditions and is experiencing severe respiratory illness related to the bird flu infection, currently in critical condition, they were saying yesterday. California Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency due to the bird flu, often called avian influenza. So the emergency follows an outbreak of the virus among dairy cows in Southern California farms. And it was initially reported in Texas and Kansas in March. Bird flu has now been confirmed in cattle across 16 U.S. states. Also, some families from Palestine are suing the U.S. State Department over U.S. support of Israel's military campaign in the Gaza Strip. So they filed a lawsuit yesterday, and they're accusing Washington of creating exceptions for Israel to circumvent a 1997 law. There's a story surrounding the so-called murder hornet. And now officials are saying that the murder hornet has been eradicated from the United States. It was first discovered in Washington State 5 years ago. So now, after, again, first being discovered in Washington State, officials say it's now been eradicated from the United States. So there have been no confirmed detections of the official name of the hornet is the northern giant hornet. There have been no confirmed detections for the past 3 years. according to USDA. And this was part of an effort to find and eliminate the hornets. It involves state, federal, and international authorities trying to bring an end to that. Also, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear arguments over the legality of a South Carolina Department of Health and Human Services effort to cut off Planned Parenthood's access to state and federal funding. So this will set the stage for another battle in the state's ongoing efforts to end abortion. And that's a look at the stories that are trending this morning in Belf's News Gallery. 6:56, cloudy skies and 29. It's great to have you along this morning, this hour of the Greg Belfrage Show. Brought to you by the Window Shop of Mitchell, offering custom windows starting at $99 a month. Want to remind you, I'll be on vacation next week through the holidays. And I want to wish you and your family a very, very Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great holiday season.
The news and views you just can't hear anywhere else. Kello News Talk 1320.
Well, thank you, my friend, for starting your day with me. I appreciate it a lot. Hope to see you back at 9:30 for the 4th hour. So I'll say so long until then. You take care. Have a great day.